Thanks and welcome to the 6:15 with me, Kejan Henry Atimbe. So Francois Penny, known as Mami Nyanga, has dismissed claims that she threatens non-natives of Upper Cam Division, insisting that a viral video was manipulated and taken out of context. And Cameroon is ramping up climate accountability as the world makes progress in the protection of the ozone layer. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motaze has intervened in a long-standing dispute between the Deposit and Consignment Fund and the Central African Banking Commission, Quebec. Top stories. Welcome back. You can check us on our respective platforms on Canal International. The senator for the Upper system that a viral video that has been circulating was manipulated and taken out of context. She was speaking in Yaoundé after she's been criticized for making such allegations of hate speech. Hyacinthia reports.
This is a video portraying the outing of Senator Francois Penny, popularly known as Mami Nyanga, threatening to chase out non-indigenes of the Upper Cam Division of the West region if they do not vote for President Paul Biya in the upcoming presidential election. A declaration that has gone viral on the social media, provoking tons of reactions from Cameroonians, decrying such high degree of hate speech propagated by the people's representative at the upper house of parliament. In a press briefing this Tuesday, September 16, 2025 in Yaoundé, Mami Nyanga tries to clear the air and wash her name, stating that she was restituting what was said in another meeting she chaired at the eve of the CPDM gathering.
Je n'ai fait que restituer les faits. J'ai dit ce qui s'est passé au cours de cette réunion qui était le compte rendu.
According to the senator, she is rather a victim of manipulation.
I don't know which reason these people use to do this kind of video behalf of me. Because in Southwest they know me, in Northwest they know who is Mami Nyanga. They know who Mami Nyanga doing to support people in Cameroon. This kind of video is not my picture.
Mami Nyanga insists that preaching the concept of living together is one of her top priorities.
Je ne sais pas s'il y a quelqu'un qui prône le vivre ensemble ou qui met le vivre ensemble en pratique comme moi.
She also adds that she is a non-native of the Upper Cam and cannot expel other non-natives from the locality.
Thanks very much, Hyacinthia, for that report. And the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, has intervened in a long-standing dispute opposing the Deposit and Consignment Fund and the Central African Banking Commission, Quebec, siding with the regional banking regulator as the controversial issue of unclaimed funds been mentioned. Analysts are saying that the intervention of the Minister of Finance is very timely. Gladys Abodiba.
At the center of the conflict is the Deposit and Consignment Fund, SEDEC, the institution tasked with collecting and managing public and private funds in Cameroon, and Quebec, the banking supervisory body for the CEMAC region. In a formal communique addressed to SEDEC's leadership, Cameroon's Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, upheld Quebec's authority, urging full compliance with its directives. These directives explicitly prohibit SEDEC from managing inactive funds held in commercial banks, a role Quebec insists must remain under strict regulatory control to protect the region's financial stability, an intervention that has been commended by finance experts who view it as a step towards regulatory clarity.
I think the minister was waiting for the COBAC to take a decision and give the right interpretation of what should be done for those funds. And now that he has his point of view of what should be done according to what COBAC has decided.
Despite being CEMAC members, both Cameroon and Gabon, through their respective deposit and consignment funds, have resisted COBAC's supervisory reach. They argue that the management of such funds falls under the state sovereignty and therefore should not be subject to regional control. The standoff has left commercial banks in limbo for nearly 2 years, caught between competing regulatory demands. With the minister's recent decision, many in the sector hope for a clearer framework moving forward, though questions remain.
We know exactly what COBAC wants us to do. I think the funds will be directed where they have to be directed and the right decision will be taken.
Le ministre, il parle en tant que qui exactement?
Behind this official warning lies a deeper question. Who is the minister really speaking as? Is he acting as the regulator upholding the law or as a shareholder benefiting from the status quo where dormant funds stay in banks, boasting their liquidity without cost? These funds, often held in banks where the state is a stakeholder, generates profit simply by remaining untouched.
Fonds détenus par les banques pour lesquelles
Analysts ponder whether Minister Motaze is acting purely in the interest of upholding regional regulatory norms or if.
And Cameroon is ramping up climate accountability as the world makes progress in the protection of the ozone layer. And through the CBIT project, stakeholders are building resilience against climate threats. More in the report.
Cameroon is increasingly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, which threatens its socio-economic development, amplifies poverty, and undermines progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Despite its commitments to international climate agreements, the country continues to face challenges in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, building resilience, and maintaining transparency in climate-related actions.
The NDC of Cameroon, for the implementation of the NDC, we want 28,000 billion francs CFA. And if we don't have a very good, we have to enhance our capacity.
We started with the draft MRV report prepared by a national consultant, and also today we will try to move forward with some tools and try to help countries as much as possible.
In response to these challenges, Cameroon is implementing the capacity building initiative for transparency projects aligned with the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The initiative is designed to strengthen institutional frameworks and improve technical capacities for better monitoring, reporting, and verification of climate actions. Climate change imposes significant additional costs on the country, particularly as it continues efforts to reduce poverty, promote sustainable development, and enhance national competitiveness.
Article 13 is about the transparency, climatic transparency, and now we want to enforce capacity of stakeholders in MRV, measure, reportage, and verification.
The GBIT project plays a key role in helping Cameroon build resilience, track its emissions, and report transparently on mitigation and adaptation efforts in line with global climate commitments.
Thanks, Maureen. We stay with you as you will be telling us that Douala is in Douala and surrounding areas. The signs
of an unfolding climate crisis are becoming increasingly visible. While some parts of the city are experiencing continuous rainfall, others suffer from long dry spells, clear indications that the local climates and environments are under severe threats.
A lot of rain, but not to this level, and we don't know what the dry season is reserving for us. And I think the direct consequence is that more rain means more degradation of roads. I think we are facing it. Everybody sees the rains are not very heavy, but they are there and they are maintained. They are long stretch. You might not notice this, but in many parts of Douala, the Vuri division, like in Campo, in other islands like Manuka and so on, we are facing a lot of coastal erosion.
Experts are raising alarm and also sharing blame, citing weak enforcement of environmental regulations and poor urban planning as contributing factors.
We emit greenhouse gases more sense that we contribute in increasing the production of greenhouse gases and cutting particularly the trees. For example, we are having a lot of destruction of mangroves.
Cameroon loses an estimated 6% of its mangroves each year, largely due to human activity. Environmentalists and climate experts warn that if this trend continues without urgent government intervention, the consequences could be catastrophic for coastal communities and biodiversity.
Every school, every house, let's plant trees. Trees bring up microclimates that are very useful for us.
And the MRV system is here to demonstrate the data, to collect everything information and try to prepare something that will be helpful for the country to make decisions.
Climate change is now a daily reality for Cameroonians, as unpredictable weather patterns make it nearly impossible to define or rely on traditional seasons. The climate no longer follows familiar rhythms, leaving agriculture, health and livelihoods increasingly exposed.
And on World Ozone Day, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization has praised Cameroon's progress in the protection of the ozone layer, with Minister Helle Pierre urging Cameroonians to participate in consolidating the achievements. Hyacinth Chia reports from Yaoundé on this day.
Commemorated under the theme From Science to Global Action, the World Ozone Layer Day is a day to conscientize parties, a day to sensitize stakeholders, a day to raise awareness on the different protocols, reflecting on what Cameroon has done this far in the protection of the ozone layer. Reviewing the stride this September 16, the Ministry of Environment, Protection of Nature and Sustainable Development says that the country is in a good footing.
We are saying we are very happy. Happy in the sense that the problem that we had that was pronounced in 1985, we are seeing that the rewards. The ozone layer is healing. It's healing very, very rapidly. The parties to this convention actually took all of this action seriously, and we're having the results.
Present at the commemoration ceremony presided at by Minister Helle Pierre, the United Nations also projects Cameroon as a good student in the drive.
Cameroon has been and still doing all good. Cameroon is a good student, we can say, and as an international partner, we are happy to mention it. The science has said we are doing good, but we need to continue that action.
And to continue the action, efforts are required from all Cameroonians and institutions.
Thanks very much, Hyacinth Chia. And Sherifa Saleh is taking us to understand the ozone layer, which she says is the Earth's invisible shield against harmful radiation, as the country is facing challenges, of course, with the increase in cooling systems.
High above the Earth, the ozone layer acts as a protective barrier, filtering out the sun's dangerous ultraviolet rays. Yet, this shield is still exposed to dangers from human activities. The ozone layer is a thin band of gas in the stratosphere that absorbs much of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation. Without it, humans risk higher risk of skin cancer, eye damage, and weakened immune systems, while ecosystems and crops are also left vulnerable. In Douala, The threat is particularly sharp. Many households and businesses rely on outdated cooling systems that still use ozone-depleting chemicals. Without strict monitoring and safe disposal, these substances escape into the air.
In as much as there's deforestation, the trees are cut down indiscriminately. Indiscriminately, they are cut down, and even FMUs where is guided in regulations, the ozone layer is affected. But once the trees are there, the ozone layer will be protected.
The ozone layer remains endangered, but it is not yet saving. With decisive action, Douala can contribute to the global effort, ensuring that Earth's shield continues to protect future generations from invisible but very real dangers.
Thanks, Sheriff Asale. And concerns are growing over the apparent suspension of the road network connecting Saint Michel and the CCC, that is in Cameroon's or Douala's 3 municipality. And the broken infrastructure is now the worry of Ambo Gladys Diba.
The Saint Michel to CCC road stretch is currently marked by large potholes and exposed soil, a stark contrast to earlier progress made during the rehabilitation works. The asphalt that had been laid along parts of the 2-lane road now abruptly ends in stretches of bare earth and crumbling terrain. Along the road, construction machinery sits idle, rusting, abandoned, and overtaken by weeds. Local residents say it's been months since they last saw any activity on the site.
This road is still not complete. Work is ongoing over there. We're asking what's happening. The asphalt being used is of poor quality and it degrades quickly. That's why you see potholes on sections that were already done. To me, this road has been abandoned. I don't think they have abandoned the road. I believe it's intentional. It's a way to influence public perception. They started work, but it's mediocre. The finishing is poor. I think they have abandoned the project. They have completely failed in their execution. The asphalt is of low quality.
Faced with growing public concern, authorities at the Douala City Council have acknowledged the delays. In a statement, the City Council assured residents that explanations will be provided regarding the current status and the timeline work resumption. But residents remain frustrated.
Le chantier a été d'abord très mal fait.
We have the impression that those hired to do the work are not doing a good job. The thickness of the tar is inadequate. There are already potholes forming just from the rains. Work is currently on hold. The construction machinery has been left abandoned. At the CCC level, you can see that the second layer of tar hasn't even been applied. We don't understand why work has stopped. We have heard it might be due to financing issues. I have seen cracks on the asphalt. I believe the competent authorities should always hire independent experts to supervise the quality of the mixtures. The work is already about 80% complete.
Still, for many living and working along this crucial stretch, answers can't come soon enough. The roads meant to ease traffic and boost mobility in one of the city's busiest zones is now halted.
Destroying the cuttings for this edition of the 6:15. With me, Kejan Henry Athembe, thanking you for being there with us. New page will be just right ahead with you on the brief, the actuality. From all of us, is goodbye.